In Miami, Combate Global, it's a takeover once again on a Friday, bringing you the most exciting fights in mixed martial arts. Mucho más acción. Record-breaking viewership the last few weeks. We know folks tuning in big numbers for David Martinez and Axel Osuna, and we move forward. 2023 is going to be huge. We put a few more bows here on 2022 as everyone gets it going inside La Jaula. A variety of weight classes on display, and the main event with one of the most exciting debuts in Combate history when Moses Diaz broke the record. He made a record, 6-second knockout in the first round. He is back. Juan Porto, el profe, the professor, stepping in short notice to take the fight. That's a big ask to say you're fighting that guy, and Porto says, bring it on. Also, Katie Perez and Kayla Hracho, and also Gerardo Bazaldua and Daniel Sanchez. We're going to begin in the flyweight division. Last we saw Javier Valdebenito, he was defeated, but this is a Chilean kid who everyone's raving about. The next great hope, the next big thing out of Chile. He's got to get some wins under his belt. Henry Beltran from El Centro, California, steps up to the plate, making his MMA professional debut. Has done it all as an amateur. Looks ready to get the call. We get our fight started. We'll go all the way to the main event. You're in the right place. Get comfortable. Fighters from all over the world. Time to ring the bell on our first fight. Let's go to Lupe Contreras.
Entrando a la jaula, Henry Beltran.
A guy who won some amateur titles in his career. One was in Mexico and one in San Diego. Both in the 125-pound flyweight division. Has not fought since 2017. He's looking to get it back. It's been a minute, Rodolfo, to know what to expect from him. We could expect anything. Maybe working on the craft he has found and seen the light. We shall see. He has a big test in front of him.
He did have some setbacks coming back and some injuries. Now he's ready to go and lay it all inside. He's been just counting down to get his debut, and this is his opportunity to do so here tonight. Rightfully so, inside La Jaula.
There he is, Henry Beltran, El Centro, California. Great fighting town. Has developed some tremendous fighters through the years. But his opponent, that's who we're talking about.
Su oponente, Javier Valdebenito.
19 years of age. He's the classic guy. When you see him, you say, there's no way this guy's a fighter. Coming in 125. He may have to push to get that 125-pound rank, but this guy is the real deal. Holyfield. And you mentioned the Bahamondes down there. That is a legendary status. Caroline Gallardo trains down there, as you mentioned, and now this is the guy that they have identified could make some serious inroads. That said, can't make mistakes, gotta be clean, gotta get a victory.
Yeah, put everything aside as far as studies. He's a full-time fighter, ready to go here. Look for a lot of kickboxing from this young man training with the Bahamondes camp. Expect fast pace. Coming off that defeat, he's learned a lot. He wants that W as a professional.
Head-to-head, Beltran, a young man in his own right. Certainly when you keep in consideration he has not fought in 5 years. He is wiser to the world and back. Valdebenito at the tender age of 19. As you can see, just 5'4" tall. He does have a reach advantage, and he came in. I'm telling you, 125 is a push for him. He came in at 123. He said, I'm good. But this is the lowest weight class.
Este
Combate, let's go.
Vueltas, división peso mosca. This bout 3 rounds in the flyweight division. Los jueces, the judges, Ricardo Celis, Vicente Rodríguez y Dorian Mirasola. Presentando la esquina azul, vestido de negro, presenting the blue corner, wearing black. Sobre la báscula, marcó un peso oficial de 125 libras y media on the scale. He registered an official 125.5 pounds. Esta noche, entra a las grandes ligas de las artes marciales mixtas, debutando dentro de la jaula de Combate Global. Tonight, he enters the big leagues of MMA, making his debut inside of la jaula de El Centro, California. Henry, the Hitman Beltran. Su oponente en la esquina roja, vestido de rojo. His opponent in the red corner wearing red. Su peso oficial, 123 libras. His official weight, 123 pounds. Con un récord profesional de 2 victorias y 1 derrota. He enters la jaula with a pro record of 2 victories against 1 defeat. Representando a Santiago de Chile, el Pantera, Javier Valdebenito. El referee internacional, Raúl Porrata.
To the center.
Raúl Porrata, sin bigote. The third inside of the
Obey my
jaula.
commands and protect yourselves at all times. Protege en todos momentos y obedezcan mis órdenes. Toquen guantes ahora, touch gloves. Back to your corners.
El Pantera versus the Hitman.
Ready? Ready? Fight!
Yeah, right from the start, Max. Look for Javier to go to those fast hands. Henry Beltran, very aggressive, good submission work as well, and wrestling. Should be a chess match between these 2 young dudes.
He fought August the 26th, did Valdebenito against Emmanuel Beruman. It was a fight that he came out, he got hit early, and he was trying to play catch up. Eventually, he got triangle choke late in the first round. They get tangled up, goes straight to the ground, into the guard of Valdebenito.
Yeah, and good game plan from Beltran, trying to stop Valdebenito right from the start, get him in the clinch and taking the fight to the ground where he feels very comfortable.
Valdebenito looking for a quicker start, not really showing that early on as he tries to turn the tables. Valdebenito in red now gets into the guard of Beltran.
Great way of scrambling from Valdebenito, getting away from any tough position as Beltran was searching for a guillotine choke. But Valdebenito, good way of positioning his head, get off, and now he takes the fight to the feet where he wants to be. Beltran, though, not accepting and getting back to his feet as well.
Kick there, midsection, and this is the striking. You talked about the kickboxing. This is where Valdebenito wants to be. First time he's been in that really in 2 fights with Combate.
This is where he likes to fight. He wants to explore that stand-up game, great teep. Beltran, though, does have that boxing background as an exchange, but he attempted again to take the fight to the floor where he feels more comfortable that he could get this victory.
Valdebenito got floored! Raúl Porrata stopped the fight! Raúl Porrata stopped the fight again, first round. Beltran victorious in his professional debut. The question was, Valdebenito shouldn't have been stopped. He got hit hard. But it looked like he still had his faculties.
This reminds me of what happened last week with Osuna and Martinez. Very similar situation where Osuna kicked Martinez, but the fight continued. Let's take a look at the replay here. Was it too soon? There's the kick.
He's out.
He's out. Yeah, he was out. He was out. He was out. Yeah.
You've got to err on the side of caution.
Absolutely. And look how the head bounces off the canvas. Look at this. Boom. I don't know if we can see that from that angle. But as soon as he connected, the first thing they hit is, look at this. Bam! Right there. Look at that head hitting that. So as a caution and as a safety, yes, Valdebenito's gonna, of course he's gonna say, you know, that was a quick stoppage, but good eye for Raúl in protecting Valdebenito.
You don't know if he's going to bounce back the way that Valdebenito. You've got to jump in there. Safety first in this sport and every sport. We'll have the official decision. Certainly a lot to talk to as Combate Global begins the way it always does. Knockout. We'll be back. Wow, big spot here. You feel for Valdebenito, the teenager, learning lessons. Unfortunately, in this sport, the only place you really learn it, it's not so much in training, and you got to learn it inside the jaula. He did.
It's a learning experience, and things just change from the amateurs to the pros, from competing in Chile to competing in the United States and North America on such a big stage as it is Combate Global. But kudos to Beltran. He was out for a couple of years. He came back and a W.
Este combate llega a su final con un tiempo oficial de 1 minuto 42 segundos del primer episodio. This bout comes to its end with an official time of 1 minute 42 seconds of round number 1. Your winner, by way of knockout, el vencedor por knockout. In his pro debut, the Hitman, Henry Beltran.
Talking to Beltran, and he mentions about how he has had a career littered with injuries. He's got some good health, and he has a victory. 1-0 in his pro debut. We shall return. Back here, Combate Global in Miami. There are the lights above La Jaula, which just witnessed a TKO courtesy of Henry Beltran. A long time ago when he was winning amateur titles, this was the guy everyone's talking about, and good reason, Valdebenito, but he was submitted in the first round the last time we saw him, and a TKO stoppage here this time around.
Always keep your hands up, always keep your eyes on your opponent, that's the key. And as you saw, right from the top, Beltran exchanged a bit and took the fight to the floor thinking that, hey, maybe I do have the advantage. It was this right there, that kick. He left himself open. Valdebenito had that left hand down, exposing that chin, and he got knocked out. Boom, there it is, wide open. Did not leave his hands up. Hey, you learn on the job, right? But this is your second time, your second day in the office. Don't make that mistake ever again, Valdebenito.
A very emotional moment between Valdebenito and his coach Manuel Bahamondes. Beltran came over to share in there. It was a really touching moment. It's the fight game. It's tough. We'll be back. Next up, we're at 170 pounds. It is Scottie Stockman making a move up to face the best from Venezuela, Gabriel Morales, victorious last time out, looking to build off of that and show that that's the next growth state in mixed martial arts. We're back in La Jaula. We're back with Lupe Contreras.
Entrando a la jaula, Scottie Stockman.
Stockman coming off a KO in the first round, victory. Big producer in Northern California, certainly at the amateur level, trains with Perez Martial Arts. 7-1 in the amateur ranks, also had 32 fights as a boxer and won 27. Very well chiseled, and basically what I saw, this guy can hit, he can hit hard.
And he's very charismatic. If he gets in his groove, you'll see he'll start taunting in the middle of the fight. So he's a very entertaining fighter. Great stand-up, not afraid to be diverse, throw in some elbows or whatnot. Great takedown defense, also as well as wrestling. So well-rounded fighter here tonight with Scottie Stockman.
Now for his opponent, let's go back in La Jaula. A little cartwheel there to Lupe.
Su rival, Gabriel Morales.
We saw Morales fight, now his third fight in Combate. He fought in May, he fought in July. Lost to Patrick Lehan in the second round in May. Came back to beat Alexander Sanchez via unanimous decision. His family in Venezuela is the first family, essentially, of MMA. Now training out of Sanford MMA. And in like many cases when we see fighters from Venezuela, or Colombia, or Chile, Ecuador, anytime you can get a fight in the U.S., we'll see a fighter from Uruguay later. Anytime you get a fight in the USA, you'll see growth.
And you're seeing it right here with Morales coming in again. Last took on Alexander Sanchez. Won by way of decision, but what's key is here, Max, is these two guys are fighting in a different weight class. They went up instead of going down. They're faring out at 170 pounds, but they typically fight at 145 pounds.
Yeah, Stockman, his last fight, 145. 55. Morales shooting up. It is what it is. These guys probably project in that 145, 155, but they get to lay the weight on tonight, provide a little extra power, and are ready to go. Pretty even in the head-to-head as we go to Lupe Contreras.
Continuamos con mucha más acción. 3 vueltas división peso welter. We continue with much more action. 3 rounds in the welterweight division. Los jueces, the judges. Eliseo Rodríguez, Ricardo Celis y Vicente Rodríguez. Y ahora, damas y caballeros, llegó el momento de un global. Presentando la esquina azul, vestido de blanco, presenting the blue corner, wearing white. Sobre la báscula, marcó un peso oficial de 168 libras y un cuarto. On the scale, he registered an official 168 and 1/4 pounds. Entra a la jaula por séptima vez a nivel profesional, con 4 victorias y 2 derrotas. He enters la jaula for the 7th time as a professional, with 4 victories against 2 losses. Hailing from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Scottie Stockman. Su oponente en la esquina roja, vestido de amarillo. His opponent in the red corner, wearing yellow. Su peso oficial, 169 libras y 3 cuartos. His official weight, 169 and 3/4 pounds. En 7 combates, mantiene un récord de 4 victorias y 3 derrotas. In 7 bouts as a pro, he has 4 victories against 3 losses. De Caracas, Venezuela, Gabriel Slam Morales. El referee de Panamá, Marcos Perez.
Marcos Perez from Panama.
Come on, get closer. Okay, so you already know the rules. Wanna clean fight, okay? Obey my command at all time. Touch glove if you want. Go to your corner.
Morales and Stockman. And Stockman, as you heard from Lupe from Milwaukee, and that's where you have the Perez connection. He takes the center of the jaula. He is wearing white. And instead of boxing, he goes to the hips, gets in that clinch early days.
It's a good strategy, Max, since Morales does like to strike. The last time we saw him compete against Patrick Lehane at 155 pounds, he had great combination and head movement trading in there. So good way of flipping the switch here. Morales probably anticipated a stand-up fight right from the start, but Stockman just switched it on him. And right from the start, getting to the clinch.
Stockman, second-generation fighter. His father was in the game as well.
Great positioning from Morales now. Positioning the arm right on the side, trying to throw him down, trip him.
Look at Stockman's balance.
Yeah.
Even on 1 foot, he ain't going anywhere. Morales' best efforts squashed there.
The way he positioned his hip to prevent Morales from taking him to the floor.
Morales.
Eventually, they're going to have to go to the center of the jaula. I mean, these guys are strikers. They love to strike.
This is unexpected, but a little expected.
Right. And sometimes it throws you off, right? If you anticipate that striking and your opponent goes straight to the clinch, then you have to kind of set yourself back into the game plan that you originally have. But Morales giving in as well. Some of that clinch work.
Back underneath in those underhooks for Morales. Again, he tries to crank on Stockman. He goes nowhere. Does get that knee in as we see Morales, black belt in Slam, which stands for well-rounded martial artist, which is a style in Venezuela created by his dad. Slam.
Morales, though, landing in some shots, though, from the clinch. He did go for some knees. Good positioning on himself there. Stockman preventing Morales from taking the fight for the floor, switching the levels. But if they don't see much action here, I'm sure Marcos Perez will separate these two.
By the way, Morales isn't playing to the camera there. That is the camera on Marcos Perez's goggles. And he's probably looking for a separation. And we're going to get it.
There it is, yep.
I think Morales said, okay, we've had enough of this. Let's get to the center of the jaula. Let's throw. Stockman first.
Morales attempting for the takedown. And an arm throw. There's that head and arm. Now Stockman.
Into the guard of Morales. Stockman pretty explosive with those moves. Seems like he was first in both exchanges. He was first again.
And let's see how they use this extra body weight. You know, that again, they're used to fighting that 145, 155 range. And adding that extra pounds makes a big difference, of course, in your movement and your footwork. Oxygen, right? You know, once you get that extra mass in you, it changes the whole dynamic as you as a fighter.
Stockman had his leg lifted, was in a position for a guillotine, never really applied it. As they get in the clinch once again, under 2 minutes to go in this opening round. Morales, we mentioned it's his third fight in Combate, did beat Javier Perez first round knockouts. Javier Perez, one of the top ranked fighters here in Combate Global at featherweight, currently ranked number 3. And by the way, these rankings will be updated pretty soon. We're looking forward to that. It's an exciting day to see where everyone falls. Ahead of 2023, where we expect more title belts.
Stockman now positioning himself, adding on that weight. Morales searching for something. Stockman is trying to land some shots here, potentially finishing this fight by way of ground and pound or stoppage.
Stockman, by the way, also connections to Oregon, Golden Gloves boxer. This is his debut in Combate, but he fought and beat, or he lost, I should say, to Gerardo Almonte back in July of 2020. Almonte on that Combate roster. Heel hook almost underneath. Something brewing underneath there, and Stockman has to react.
Stockman just positioning himself, landing indoor shots from this position, but Morales trying to grab onto something to submit. However, it's not there. If he does not respond, Stockman could take a W here inside the house.
Those are connecting. Ben is giving a long look. Morales not defending himself.
Doing anything.
Stockman
Just
bringing in the heavy lumber, and it's going to be ending in the first round.
There it is.
Wow.
Successful debut for Stockman.
No such thing.
Scottie Stockman came and he conquered. Beats Gabriel Morales, first round TKO. We'll be back. We are back. It's got to feel good for Scottie Stockman. We mentioned the Milwaukee ties and the Duke Rufus shirts in his corner, where he is king in combat in Wisconsin. We'll get the official decision. We'll talk more about this fight shortly. Tolupe.
Una acumulación de golpes obliga al referee Marcos Pérez a parar la contienda con un tiempo oficial de 4 minutos 32 segundos del primer episodio. An accumulation of blows obligates referee Marcos Pérez to stop this contest with an official time of 4 minutes 32 seconds of the opening round. Your winner, by way of TKO, el ganador por nocaut técnico, Scottie Stockman.
Stockman living up to his last name, fighting at 170. He could put on the stock. You could see the volume in his body, and he used that power to his benefit. We expect him to go down to 155, perhaps 145, but enjoy the moment. It's a victory. Tony Padilla joins him inside the jaula. He got on top. Whether it went to the ground, and it went to the ground a second time, Stockman clearly superior in that facet of the fight.
Yeah, right from the opening bell, right? He took the fight to the clinch and then switched to levels, took the fight to the floor, where he just landed just an onslaught of punches that Morales was unable to defend.
We'll be back. Take a quick break. Much more action coming your way from Miami. La Jaula getting tidied up. We're having our main card coming your way shortly, and 2 first-round stoppages to open the evening. Victory for Scottie Stockman and also Henry Beltran. 2 fighters making their Combate debuts. Back here in the Jaula, another preliminary matchup coming your way. Alexander Schenk, the 21-year-old with an incredible story to share, will clash against Jose Lugo, whose brother just fought for Combate a couple weeks ago. 11 years the senior, all even on height, all even there. This is under the lightweight category. Let's go to Lupe.
Este duelo 3 vueltas, división peso ligero. This bout 3 rounds in the lightweight division. Los jueces son the judges are Vicente Rodríguez, Dorian Mirasola y Eliseo Rodríguez. Presentando la esquina azul, vestido de rojo, presenting the blue corner, wearing red. Su peso oficial, 155 libras, is official weight, 155 pounds. Entra por cuarta vez a la jaula, con 2 victorias y 1 derrota. He enters la jaula for the 4th time as a pro, with 2 victories against 1 defeat. Hailing from Yuma, and now fighting out of Phoenix, Arizona, Jose Joey Lugo. Su oponente en la esquina roja, vestido de negro con rojo y azul. His opponent in the red corner, wearing black with red and blue. Su peso oficial, 155 libras. His official weight, 155 pounds. Con un récord idéntico a su rival, de 2 victorias y 1 derrota. He enters la jaula with an identical record of 2 victories against 1 defeat. Fighting out of Clarksville, Tennessee, Alexander Pretty Boy Schenk. El referee de Panamá, Marcos Perez.
Marcos Perez, the man in charge.
Stop, okay? Okay, so.
And in the jaula.
Wanna clean fight, okay? Follow my command at all times. Control 12 to 1, and go to your corners. Yes. You ready? You ready? Combate!
There he is, Jose Lugo in red, fighting Alexander Schenk. And Alexander Schenk, the 21-year-old, he doesn't catch breaks in his career. Mother dealing with colon cancer, and we did mention it's breast cancer awareness month, but cancer is a killer in so many, has caused so many problems. His mother did bounce back, and he's had some financial hardships. He's looking to get this fight to get back on track. An incredible story for a 21-year-old, so much on his shoulders.
Man, he's about to become a father next week. Crazy to think how sweet it would be to get this victory for Alex inside La Jaula for the first time. He has a great background here in boxing as well as you mentioned Lugo. Lugo has an overall well-rounded fighter, great background in wrestling. He's a roommate of Kelvin Gastelum. In fact, Kelvin is cornering him here tonight.
Kelvin Gastelum in the corner, a guy who's fought some huge fights for UFC. Also Latino. So getting in there for Lugo. Took a break from fighting. Focus on family, a few other things. He was 4-0 as an amateur as Schenk takes him down and gets into side control.
Great wrestling here from Schenk. See what Lugo defends this here on the ground. Crazy story though from Schenk. I mean, there's so much things that come into play to make a debut in Combate. And you just for one moment, for these 15 minutes, you got to put that aside to get this victory. Great scrambling from both these guys here. Lugo positioning his hip to get out of this position. Schenk though has that spinning around, great stuff. Now Lugo giving away his back, could be in trouble. Never want to do that. Getting away now. Fight right back to the top.
Schenk trains with Harris Holt Martial Arts in Tennessee. More and more fighters there from that state. He is half from German lineage and Nigerian. Soft there on that lead leg of Lugo, who again, his brother Miguel just fought for Combate Global.
Said that Schenk told me that the reason why he started into mixed martial arts was thanks to his teammate Jacob Kilborn, a vet in the world of MMA. He had a background in karate, and he transitioned into mixed martial arts. He carries that second-degree black belt in karate, Max. Of course, as you become an MMA fighter, you start applying and adding all these different sorts of martial arts. But that base of karate could come a long way.
Now, feeling it out, both looking to counter. Schenk leads into that knee of Lugo. Big spot here again. Our preliminaries rolling on. This will be in the lightweight division.
Lugo with his spinning Back. Oh, question mark kick
Very nicely done there.
from Schenk. Good stuff. Just to set the pace, set the tone as we're concluding this first round. A little of the feint there, the kick. Good calf kick from Schenk.
Schenk combination
Great.
flies in to set up that kick.
Yeah, I love that he opened up with that hook and followed up with the calf kick. And Lugo fell for it. He's been feigning through all this time around, and Lugo kind of gives into it instead of coming in forward.
Switching stances there, the left-hander now Schenk. 2-1 in his MMA career.
Man, Schenk
More
is
pressure.
he's just waiting here to land something to finish the fight. You could just see it in him. He's so patient.
Schenk last fought in March of this year. Decision, a unanimous victory. Also fought in March a unanimous decision defeat. His first pro fight in September of last year, a split decision win. He was 8-3 as an amateur. So still in diapers in his career. This is gonna go a long way in his Combate debut.
The respect is there for both of these two men, Max, as they're just targeting patiently and cautiously because they respect each other's power.
First round coming to a close. We'll be back for round number 2. Here's some looks of the first round.
Take a look, Max. Right from the start, this opening bout of the first round, block kick by Lugo. But there's that question mark kick that connected. Didn't get full of the chin, more of the foot. But either way, it connected. And then Lugo with his spinning back kick, pushing Schenk back. But it was pretty much blocked by this young man as we get ready for the second round.
Ready here for round number 2. Still a long way to go for either of these fighters to seize this moment. You get one chance to really show off in that first Combate fight. This is it. So high stakes for both Lugo and Schenk. Lugo in red.
Let's see if they continue on with. They've already passed that feeling out stage in that first 5 minutes of the fight. Now it's time to pick up the pace.
Well, we'll see about that because we talked about Schenk, all 3 of his fights going the distance.
Right.
The same can be said for Joey Lugo, fighting out of Yuma, Arizona, just like his brother. All 3 of his fights going the distance. One did fall short. He was armbarred in his last fight. His other 2 fights.
This is mucho más acción.
And by the way, he hasn't fought since 2015, so a long time since Lugo's been in there. And I should say he did have a rear naked choke victory as we look at this official scoring. And Schenk caught him.
Now, why?
Spinning back kick, but he did not follow up.
Right. You know, if this fight ends up going to Lugo, he's going to look back at this tape and scratch his head as to why I did not proceed here after taking him to the floor and just letting him stand up. I mean, I get it. Maybe he's trying to go for a knockout, highlight reel, great, but I think the W is a lot more important for you.
Back to middle. I mean, this is certainly feeling out, and I don't want to sound too cliche, but it feels like that. He's high stakes for these guys, and I would imagine, Rodolfo, they look across the way and they feel the similar energy from their opponent.
Well, at this stage, you're already 7 minutes into this fight. You kind of have a good understanding of your opponent. Right from the start, the good first 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you kind of know where your opponent is going, what he tends to do. Plus, great catch.
Again, Schenk's had the 2 best strikes of this fight, both in the second round.
And if you've been doing all your homework, doing all that research in your videos, you know what to anticipate. And he's been just banking on this calf kick. He's landed easily a good 5, 6 of them, 7 of them. And I like how he sets him up. He'll come in with a hook, go in the inside of the leg.
Now they're
There's another one.
the legs from the corner.
He's just attacking those legs.
Schenk corner saying you're taking the spring out of his step. They may be true. Now if you could double up a little bit deep into round number 2.
Yeah, the kicking from Schenk, it's been phenomenal. Very consistent.
There you see Kelvin Gastelum. It looks like is that a Dodger shirt? He's over on the left.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking baseball right now. Why not? Baseball playoffs well underway. Something to secure the round. So 2 minutes here to try and win this round.
Yeah, Schenk there's another one there. And he's been so effective with those kicks, switching his stance. And Lugo just can't seem to find where these legs are coming fast. They're just, they don't seem as quick. But when you're there, it's a different story.
Big kick there by Lugo. Better from him. Trying to seize this round as best he can.
Good way of positioning their hands, though.
And hard to imagine going through Lugo's mind. Hasn't fought in 4 years. I mean, this is a big decision. When you're out 4 years, you wonder, are you coming back to fighting? And then something hits you, go, I want it. I want another taste. I'm coming back. I'm ready. Maybe more ready than I was 4 years ago.
And you get to improve. You get to fix in some of your gaps. Maybe change camps. Maybe that camp that you were in 4 years ago just wasn't doing it for you, wasn't improving you as a fighter. And you do some inner talking and ask yourself, hey, do I really want this? Is it really for me? Do I want to take a different route? And he had just been waiting for you. Put it aside, great
Good
hook
hit
there from Schenk. And I had a chance to talk to him. He said, I was just focused on my family, but now it's time that I get back in La Jaula and compete. This is what I was meant to do. Oh!
Good combination. Nothing really, just scratching the surface there. Schenk keeps it going, but this is better.
Man,
volume.
The story of this fight so far has been those calf kicks from Schenk. And oh, another question mark kick. It's just the entire story of this fight. And look at him, just knees.
Big knee flying in. Lugo's timing all off. Could be a problem as we head towards round number 3. Highlights here. That was right on the button from Schenk, and probably didn't follow up on that. Probably should have.
Yes, absolutely. I would like to find out as to why he did not proceed. The guy was on the floor. Usually you'll tend to see the fighter just run at him and just land some shots from the ground in pound position. I mean, that was his opportunity. But hey, maybe he has a different game plan that we are not aware of. Either way, the talk of this fight here are the kicks from Schenk. The calf kicks have been effective. Spinning back kicks, great stuff from him.
Back here for round number 3. Alexander Schenk with his foot on the pedal, seemingly has this fight under wraps thus far, but a long way to go, and they're checking on Lugo's left ankle.
Oh, look at that.
Oh boy, it lit up right above it.
Yeah, that left leg and the shin is just swelled up.
That looks pretty gruesome.
And I kind of noticed, I think it was midway through the first round, maybe a little limping, but it was hard to tell. I mean, he really disguised it quite well, I must say, but boy, that is pretty bad. And that's the reason why Schenk has been attacking those legs, those shins. And right now it's just adrenaline, Max. That's what's just making him go. They'll hit him tomorrow.
Oh boy. Yeah, he doesn't look like it's bothering him now, but that will change. A lot of ice, certainly, available in the back of the studios there where La Jaula resides. Now Lugo's got to pick up the pace.
He has to. Yeah, that's he has to be more aggressive in this fight. He has to come inside to stop Schenk from throwing in those kicks. That's been the talk of this fight. I've said this numerous times already. Lugo has to, I'm sure Kelvin mentioned it to him, dude, you have to do something. You have to cut the corners. Stop him.
And switching stances has really helped Schenk. I mean, he's doing it more because it's obviously affecting Lugo.
It's throwing Lugo off guard. And every time he does it, he just doesn't know where these kicks are coming from. And look at the open scoring max.
Oh, Schenk getting a 10-8 round there. You don't see that too often, but he is way out in front, and Lugo with that bad left peg has to dig deep, but he looks more and more grounded. There is no bounce in his feet, and certainly that, I don't know what you call it, a contusion, hematoma is a big part of it. And I can confirm that it was a Dodgers jersey. Clayton Kershaw, in fact. Little crucifix there.
Okay, maybe he's banking on a submission victory here. May have something here. He's had the pressure on him, but not.
Holding that wrist there to slow down Schenk. Schenk digs it out, though.
And at this stage, you know, that sweat comes into play. It's hard to get a grasp if you're trying to work for an Americana or a Kimura.
Schenk, who is a second-degree black belt in karate, and we know karate is nice to have in mixed martial arts, but it's just the tip of the iceberg. He worked on that. You got to build on so many other of the martial arts. You saw that in 2014 when he was just a kid, obviously. He's still a kid. He was 13. His teammate Jacob Kilburn was competing in and moving from karate to MMA. He followed suit right after high school.
Yeah, Kilburn was basically the motivator for him to transition into MMA, Max. The teammate of his, but Lugo just.
Oh, another big kick, and he worked that leg.
Man, that's so beautiful, that low kick, how he's able to chop it down and he follows through. You'll see that he positions that right hand to just let him fall through. That's a kickboxing right there for you. Oh, and Lugo's feeling it. He's limping, or he's really disguising it very well. But you heard that man grunt. Look at it, just swelled up, Max. That left leg just stands out.
Yes. Oh, another one.
Yeah, another one. He's just feeling it, man.
Yeah, he's in his rhythms now. Well done by Schenk. He has 1:50 to finish it. Can't make any mistakes, and he'll get his victory here. Continues to switch.
And he has a lot of heart. It was between rounds that he looked up at the sky and took a grab and just took it all in, because that pain, he's feeling it, man. Look how he just grabs for air. Oh.
Another Mitch. That time Lugo does have him, but he's going to take a ride.
Great slam from Schenk.
Big slam by Schenk. Side control.
Lugo does have that work in the ground, but he has a minute and change if he goes for a submission victory here. He's grabbing onto that left arm of Schenk.
Both fighters collecting their breath. We saw Lugo take a couple exhales because it was getting hairy in there. He's been through the Hurt Locker, and now Schenk keeping active. As we said, he's had a really tall order. He's looking to turn his life around. It's incredible to say for someone that's 21. Not that he had the problems. He's just trying to get on the right track. Girlfriend is pregnant. Baby expected here later this month. Wish him the best in fatherhood. And this would be a nice way to celebrate that.
And Schenk is playing the good role. See how he has that right leg blocking Lugo from doing any sorts of movement. So if he did go for, earlier on, he wanted to go for an arm triangle choke. That was a very hard position that he was in due to Schenk's position, not allowing to wrap around those legs over Schenk. So Schenk right now is doing a good job. He knows he has this fight. He knows he's winning. So he's just going to play out the clock and let the bell ring and go for this W.
That's the end. Alexander Schenk from pillar to post. Very impressive as he looks to get his first Combate victory.
Ugh.
Yo soy Gerardo Javier, Bazaldua. Tengo 24 años y soy de Monterrey, Nuevo León. Me gustaba la lucha libre, la WWE. Un amigo mío me invitó a entrenar MMA. Era cuando apenas empezaba el boom del MMA en México, pues. Me enamoré del deporte y pues hasta la fecha aquí seguimos. Pues me considero un peleador striker. Me gusta la pelea de pie, pero me siento completo en todas las áreas. A como se preste la pelea, creo que estoy listo para cualquier situación, pues. En mi última pelea peleé contra Hanseu Nava, se llamaba. La pelea la llevé toda en el suelo luchándolo, lo controlé y en el segundo round pude finalizarlo con, bueno, knockout técnico. Mi oponente ya lo conozco, de hecho, pues ya tiene tiempo que no nos vemos, pero sé que es luchador, le gusta luchar. Y pues creo que va a ser una pelea tal vez de estilos encontrados, porque a él le gusta más luchar, a mí me gusta más la pelea de pie. Entonces pues yo creo que va a ser una buena pelea. Pues me siento preparado, creo que entreno con el mejor equipo, los mejores peleadores de Monterrey, a lo mejor varios de México. Entonces siento que vengo muy bien preparado. Daniel, pues espero que vengas bien preparado, que vengas a dar una guerra, porque pues es lo que espero y lo que quiero darle a la gente que nos va a ver esta noche.
Los tres jueces entregan tarjetas idénticas de 30 a 27. All three judges turn in identical scores of 30 to 27 in favor of the winner by way of unanimous decision, a favor del ganador por decisión unánime. The Pretty Boy, Alexander Schenk.
Alexander Schenk improves to 3-1, 1-0 in Combate. An impressive pillar-to-post job here inside the jaula. And now he can look forward to the new addition with his girlfriend. We wish him all the luck. What a great story, overcoming as much as he has to get focused and dialed in for this challenge. We look forward to seeing him again probably early in 2023 as we look at the stats. Not a lot of output, but the kicks certainly stood out for Schenk, and he quelled Lugo. Lugo didn't want the taste there at the end. Accurate enough in the takedown. So good, thorough effort here from Schenk. I'm sure if he saw the stats, I don't know if they look at him, he'll be happy.
70 kicks. That was the story of this fight. It was just not, it was consistent with it. And it was all there. You see it in Lugo, who's injured. That left leg just swelled up. As we take a look at the highlights, Max, well, we're going back earlier on. We had the youngster from Chile, Javier Valdebenito, taking on Henry Beltran. And what a debut this young man had against the Chilean, as he started the fight with a clinch. And then he tried and bam, that was it. That kick that took Valdebenito to the floor, and that was it. Raul Porrata stepping in to stop the fight. Beautifully executed. Man, oh man, it takes me back to that Axel Osuna kick to David Martinez. Osuna didn't end up winning that fight, but boy, Beltran, you got that W here tonight. Great debut for this young man. Didn't even break a sweat.
Nicely done by Beltran. Unfortunate for Valdebenito. Another first round setback. I'm sure we will see it, but at 19 years of age, learning MMA the hard way. That's got our preliminary fights. And then Scottie Stockman versus Gabriel Morales. They got to fight at 170. You could see it. They looked big and strong. Stockman looked like a monster in there.
He was like a wrecking ball coming in up against Morales. Stockman with that background in boxing, but he said, no, not today. I went straight to the clinch, took down Morales to the floor, and this is it, that ground and pound landing in these heavy leather that made our referee step in and call the fight a successful debut for Mr. Scottie Stockman. And if the matchmaker, Mr. Tony Padilla, is in there, you know it was a good fight and good performance from Stockman. There he is.
What a moment. El Profe. El Profe, that means you know what you're doing. You're experienced.
Sure, right.
And that's what he's got.
That's
The
what
nicknames
comes
have to be accurate. Like Schenk, he was a pretty boy.
Yes, he was a pretty boy. And there he is. 6-second knockout. History in Combate Global, the fastest knockout. Has only competed as a professional in less than 10 minutes.
And there is Gerardo Bazaldua coming up next. Another fight at the 170-pound welterweight division, fighting Daniel Sanchez. Monterrey versus Mexico City. The Marroquin family, the royalty in Monterrey, in the corner of Bazaldua. And for Daniel Sanchez from Ciudad de Mexico, he says a big a foundation of wrestling, looking to build off of that and get an important win for both of these guys so they can start moving in the right direction, actually getting ready and taped up for what is next. Also, Katie Perez, fighting out of Greensboro, North Carolina. She will fight Kayla K-Rock Hracho out of Reading, PA. That at 105-pound in the atomweight division. Atomweight really becoming as entertaining in any division here in Combate Global. A good shot to see if these two women can make their ascension up the rankings and perhaps eventually get a shot at Ana Palacios, Claire Lopez, Gloria Bravo, one of those fighters in the top of the rankings. So that's what lies ahead, moments away from starting the main card. Moses Diaz, we didn't really mention him a lot, but that's the man of the hour, the man who has the fastest knockout.
That's why you don't mention him too much, because he's so fast.
So fast. I mean, Rodolfo, it was crazy. I was doing all this homework, and I was like in my second page of notes. I go, stop. Are you going to use all of this? You're probably not, but I erred on the side of preparation and kept going.
It's better to over-prepare than under-prepare.
Yes. Maybe I'll use it for the next time, as we look forward to seeing Moses. But you never know. He also said if it goes deeper into the fight, which was interesting because he hasn't gone deep into fights, he was going to knock the guy out. We'll worry about that a little bit later. But first things first, Katie Perez, Kayla Hracho at the atom weights. Coming your way. Friday Night Combate. Miami, the site for Combate Global. We are heading into the back end of 2022. The fall calendar, some big fights, including tonight, coming your way as everyone looks to see if they can book some fights for 2023. Lying ahead, the man who has the quickest knockout in Combate Global history. And that is where all the action takes place. La Jaula looking clean. At least for now. Preliminaries behind us, already had a couple first-round finishes, a breakthrough performance from Alexander Schenk. Now we get to the meat and potatoes, as you will. There is Moses Diaz. 4 wins, 4 knockouts. Fights don't last very long. Juan Porto picking up this fight on short notice. And that's a big ask, because no one wants to get inside the jaula with Diaz. Porto says, I'll do it. At 170 pounds, Gerardo Bazaldua and Daniel Sanchez look to seize this opportunity. And what Rodolfo Roman, my colleague, said will be the fight of the night. At atomweight, Katie Perez and Kayla Hracho.
That should be a very fun, very evenly matched between those two ladies, back and forth. The edge does go to Perez on the ground game. She already had a submission victory inside La Jaula. But Hracho does have that, or Hracho has that good takedown defense that could allow this fight to remain on the feet. But boy, that main event, you know, Diaz, yes, 6-second knockout, but never underestimate Juan Porto. You never know what he's all about.
Ready to go. Let's get to the main card and Lupe Contreras.
Entrando a la jaula, Katie Perez.
If you sit down with Katie Perez, you could listen to her talk about a great many things. Wise beyond her years. She's good at a lot of stuff, but fighting first, absolutely loves it. Trains with Team Phoenix in Combate Fitness and fighting out of Greensboro, North Carolina, out of Coolowee. North Carolina, where it's the campus of Western Carolina. And she owes it all to her coach, Dave Ginsburg.
Yeah, expect a lot of that. Take that stand-up game right from the start to test it out. But she has that great stand-up as an MMA fighter, where you'll see in the contrary of Hracho, she has that boxing stance. Unless she's worked on it since the last time we saw her inside La Jaula, we'll see it.
Su contraria, Kayla Hracho.
Kayla Hracho identified while training in Pennsylvania by American Top Team, and an invitation was handed out to come back. Dean Thomas, who was a former coach there, saw a video and was intrigued. Has all the tools. Still looking to put it all together. This is a great spot for her to do it. Again, as we said in the pre-fight show, she fought at 115 strawweight. She felt she was too small in that category. She can make weight at 105. She feels good, and this is where she feels she can really make an impression.
You mentioned Dean Thomas, but cornering here tonight is Marcos Parumpa, who is a decorated ground game specialist in the floor as a veteran, and of course as a mixed martial artist.
Getting ready for the head-to-head cara a cara. Hracho, 2 years the senior of Perez, both coming at 5'2". Perez with the slight reach advantage. Kayla Hracho just slipping in at the max at 106. Katie Perez comfortable at under 105 pounds. We are ready to go in the atom weight division, our featured women's bout, which is a priority for Combate. And we keep looking for the big fights. We know the women audience continues to grow. They're going to enjoy this one, according to Rodolfo. Let's go to Lupe Contreras.
Las reglas oficiales de la jaula, 3 vueltas de 5 minutos, 3 jueces utilizando el sistema de 10 puntos. Este duelo en la división peso átomo de Spout. En the atom weight division, los jueces, the judges. Dorian Mirasola, Eliseo Rodríguez y Ricardo Celis. Presentando la esquina azul, vestida de rojo, presenting the blue corner, wearing red. Su peso oficial, 104 libras y 3 cuartos, her official weight, 104 3/4 pounds. Entra por séptima vez a la jaula, con 3 victorias y 3 derrotas. She enters la jaula for the 7th time as a professional, with 3 victories against 3 losses. Fighting out of Greensboro, North Carolina, la máquina asesina, Katie Perez. Su rival en la esquina roja, vestida de negro. Her opponent in the red corner, wearing black. Su peso oficial, 106 libras. Her official weight, 106 pounds. En su octavo combate, con 3 victorias y 4 derrotas, she enters la jaula for the 8th time as a professional, with 3 victories against 4 losses. Hailing from Reading, Pennsylvania, and fighting out of Coconut Creek, Florida, Kayla K-Rock Hracho. El referee internacional, Raúl Porrata.
El referee internacional, Raúl Porrata, the third inside la jaula.
Obey my commands and protect yourselves at all times. I expect a clean fight. Touch gloves now. Back to your corners.
Right from the start, Max. We'll see Perez with that stand-up game, and Kayla Hracho with that boxing. You see that good footwork? A little different though from this time around. Well, there it is. You'll see how she moves her shoulders around, very texture boxing, but fast hands, fast combinations, good timing. And Perez respects the power of Hracho.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised here, Max, if just a short time, Perez switches gears and takes this fight to the ground. Oh, just great combination from Hracho. It's a 1-2 combo.
There we go, beautiful.
Hracho all in black, peppering away, looking to get the striking in under the belt, fighting Katie Perez, who, as Rodolfo pointed out, watches the fights, tweets on fight nights when the cards are going. We absolutely love that. She says MMA has given her a purpose, a drive. My life went off the rails. I had no direction. Training has given me the ability to open up, to be willing to fail and learn from those mistakes.
And And Hracho is connecting. Look at Perez's face already. The marker too, right up by the nose. So those fast hands of Hracho are doing damage to Perez already. And Perez is aware of that, and you hear Hracho's corner. She's about to shoot. Because that is where the advantage goes to Perez on the floor. But Hracho does have good takedown defense. It's what I'm liking from Hracho, Max, compared to the last time from Cunningham, is she's so fast with her hands, and as quickly as she nails those shots, she quickly moves out, not allowing Perez to cut the distance and go for any takedowns. Great.
Very nice. Don't let us set her feet, Katie. Use those angles.
Great back and forth.
Short, cranky shots, and already redness around the left eye of Perez, who is nicknamed.
Oh.
And there's a nice knee coming in.
Yeah, and see how Hracho positioned her hip really well. Took Perez to La Jaula in the clinch.
Knees, Katie. Yeah. Nice, Katie.
Perez here does it to the floor. Now let's see what Perez could do. Although Hracho putting all that weight. Let's see if she can capitalize on this. Maybe even some shoulder shots from that position. If she's able to get that arm out, that right arm out, she can land some shots here. But Perez feels very comfortable. And look how she uses the howler here. Great psychology on her end, positioning herself.
Under 2 minutes to go here. Katie Perez in her guard right now, nicknamed Máquina Asesina, which means the assassin of machines. We asked her about that. She says the problem is when she goes in her car, it breaks down. When she walks by a lamppost, it turns off.
Yeah, that
feels like she.
funny.
I go, that's interesting. Interesting turn. I did not expect that.
That was quite funny when you showed that. Now, have you noticed, Max? Hracho was positioning her head, and that could be really disturbing, especially for the fighter on the floor. She was rubbing that head right on the chin.
Now they're going to Raul Porata, referee internacional, will break them up.
This benefits Hracho. She wants this fight to remain standing, so she can work those combos.
Hracho's been sharp.
Yeah, man.
So
she's so fast.
And fast.
So fast. It's that boxing background. And what I like here is that we're seeing less of that boxing stance. See that well-rounded, that full MMA fighter.
Good kick in the midsection.
That improvement is there, man. She's done her work.
Oh, great combination, Hracho.
Man.
And you can see what they saw in her, the American top team, from that video. Then you can also see what she said, feeling more comfortable in this division.
Man, and she feels comfortable, and she's a big 105er compared to Katie. You see that muscular definition. She's a stronger of the two.
Well, this is why we love the women's fights, action-packed. And Hracho looking to maybe finish it in this first round, using that right hand like a piston as we reach the end of round one.
That's just the first round, Max.
Explosive.
Wow. Hracho brought everything so far.
And they're taking a look at the left eye of Katie Perez. Make sure vision is okay and she can continue. It looks pretty superficial, but that's me saying it. How am I supposed to know from out here? But it's bothering her.
Oh, absolutely. Let's take a look at some of the highlights here. Great hook. Just a combination here from Hracho. That's the story of this fight. Fast hands, stick and move. Perez already damaged under that eye. And then here, fight stood up on the feet.
Back here for round two. In between rounds, they tended to the left eye. And you can see it is near that eyeball of Katie Perez. Got to make sure she can see okay. You have to imagine it's somewhat handicapping her a little bit because Hracho is connecting and Hracho is going at that left eye. Hit and move.
Yeah, she's bringing herself down right to the level of Perez. Just landing in those shots. And there it is, Perez with a takedown, but great defense from Hracho.
Hracho into the guard. Hracho saying MMA has helped me create a sense of discipline that I would not have had without. I think that speaks for so many people. We all maybe look to have a little discipline in everything you do. It's a game changer, certainly probably for all of us, certainly for Hracho. It also allows her to express herself. She loves to challenge herself every day, and she takes the first round clean in the official scorecard. Again, if you're new to Combate Global, that is the judges' scores. That is official, and the fighters in the corners are allowed to disseminate that information in any way.
You gotta go back, Max, to November 2020, where Hracho had a rear naked submission victory. So she does have a sub in her resume, her pro resume, as a fighter.
Now almost in the mount there for Hracho.
Yeah, Perez might be in deep waters here if she gives that back. And they're in the center of La Jaula. This right here is one of the most toughest positions for a fighter that's on the floor.
We saw Perez in her last fight. She got off to such a fast start in her defeat to Andrea Meneses and slowed down. A different story here. She has not gotten out of the blocks whatsoever, and got to give Hracho credit for all of that.
And now you hear Perez.
A little careful those gloves.
Yeah, Perez's corner, Max, is telling him just wait for that opportunity so you can look for a triangle, but the corner of Hracho told her to pass the side, and that's using the side where she can land in those shots.
Side control, and she's got a good hold of it. Attempt there for Perez to get her head back.
Yeah, Perez is searching for that triangle, but Hracho's just too smart.
Hracho said her boxing's too crisp, too fast. She gets to train with some of the best in the world at ATT, which includes Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Marina Moros, Kayla Harrison, who of course obviously a elite judo competitor, done very well at MMA. Dustin Poirier and Jorge Masvidal. Gets to see those folks train. And you can see it in her game. And even on the ground she looks good, but really on the stand-up she looks spectacular.
She has that cornerman Parumpa. Extraordinary submission. Jiu-jitsu expert. Great takedown defense from Hracho, not allowing Perez to finish off the takedown. Transitioning very well, positioning her hip down. Now, if she only, from this position, she needs to turn. There it is, it's a turn right there. But Perez giving her back, good way on her end. And then she may be in trouble here, Max. And an arm lock.
Onto there, the arm lock locked in there. Hracho now looks to squeeze. Let's see how her jiu-jitsu game is.
If Hracho was able to get that leg out and transition and put in the pressure, that could be enough.
How that blood flow is. Hracho said she was going to finish this by TKO or KO. Maybe she finishes by submission.
Yeah, she needs to flatten out Perez. She needs to get those legs out on the side that she's doing right there. Now she needs to turn, keep turning. Not that she got out.
Let it go. She still may have something in store for Perez, who's in a lot of discomfort. Nothing is working for Perez.
Let's go for a 10-8 round.
Hracho just positioning her
hear
body
that from
weight.
the corner?
Yeah.
Going for a 10-8 round.
Yeah.
She might be in it. We've already had a 10-8 round tonight.
Keep going. Slide the knee to mount.
Slide the knees to mount. That's going to be a tall order, but it's certainly on offer for Hracho.
Well,
and she's going for it.
And it is, and it's just a matter of timing, because what Katie's trying to do is position those legs. So it's just a matter of just looking for the right opportunity to make that quick move. You have to be so fast.
Katie Perez's corner saying anything, elbows. That's the only thing Hracho's allowing her.
Now it's her choke as well. Oh, but you tried a standing one, but
maybe she thought she had something.
yeah. Now Hracho though did turn that chin, not allowing her to grab anything. Good on her end.
And that'll take us to the end of round two. Another dominating round for Hracho.
We have had a chance to see Hracho fight before. I thought she possibly could have won her last fight against Javier Cunningham, but this is a different level of fighter.
It was a split decision loss. However, that is all in the rear view. Hracho, different fighter against Perez, and she's having a great display of work defending anything to Perez from the ground. In fact, she nearly submitted Perez in this position from that lock. However, Perez was able to escape and live to see another round.
Back here for round 3. Hracho looking fresh. She's got a good lather of sweat, no doubt about it. This is always hard work. And now Katie Perez has to go for it. This is such a big moment for her. I am a fighter. I must keep on fighting. If I had to pay to do it, be a fighter, I would. Well, we're not asking her to do that, but this is how important it is for her. She wants to bring home glory to the gym, to her school, wants to bring acclaim to my coach we talked about earlier. Hopefully bring back trophies and or belts. Now she's just hoping to bring in some pride in this third round. Good uppercut, Hracho.
And Hracho just has so much power in those hands.
Oh, good right hand,
Perez connected. Hracho though wasn't fazed by it.
Got her attention a little bit.
It got, but
oh, another right hand, Hracho on the button. 3 tremendous rounds of action.
Oh, that one brought her to a knee.
Perez to a knee. Well, Perez actually got around back there. So she's got something to build a foundation off of. Looking for that knee, perhaps. Hracho 2018 on the 2 scorecards, which is great news for her.
She got something. But either way, now Perez here searching for anything that's available. She has less than 4 minutes if she wants to get this victory. She has to do it now. And you hear there the positioning the head from
Rubber
Hracho.
guard. I mean, this is really a case. Perez has been all right. Hracho's just been spectacular.
Very well.
Super prepared.
She knows how to position herself, using her weight where she needs to.
She says she felt healthy at 105, which is you don't hear. This wasn't a terrible cut for her. She was able to manage it according to her. I mean, those are the fighters talking. You got to take with a grain of salt at times.
Yeah, Hracho did. Great way of Hracho positioning her chin to the other side, not allowing Perez to capitalize and submit her with that guillotine attempt. And now she's trying to put that foot. Man, Hracho's just so good. When she feels that Perez has something, she positions that head up. Now she can't let those arms loose though, because Katie could be very fast and get a triangle choke.
Trying to get that leg up there to do just that. Plenty of time here for Perez, who's had a nice third round, been able to slow down Hracho somewhat.
She's been working on this, but Hracho, good positioning, not allowing Perez to capitalize on it, not allowing to grab it.
Pardon me, Rodolfo.
Now,
3 professional wins for Perez, all 3 via submission, including her 1 win in Combate in her 2 fights. It was a triangle choke over Crisula Cucuveticus back in July. This is her 3rd fight this year for Combate. Really 3rd fight in the back end of the year. 3rd fight in 4 months.
Hracho, good way, man. Good way of just scrambling, getting out of any harm. Let's see from this angle here. Great way up and taking herself out. Good scramble. Good scramble from Hracho.
Guillotine attempt here, not much behind
Not
it. But
much, yeah.
what can Perez do here to salvage something in this fight?
Right, and it's just a matter of timing. You've been seeing her, she's just desperate, trying to put those legs up to grab a triangle choke or an arm bar, something. She's trying to grab for something. But Hracho is just so good, balancing her weight. And every time that she feels that Perez is grabbing something, she shifts her weight to the other side, not allowing Perez to finish it.
Hracho gets to her feet. Perez not letting her in, but the damage may have been done.
At that leg. See if she has that leg now, Max?
She's trying for a submission victory here. Hracho, one submission win in her career, rear naked choke, November of last year.
Hracho needs to get herself out this position. She has 20
Could you
seconds.
imagine? 20 seconds. Perez, last chance cafe, starts to crank.
Perez trying to expand those hips to extend the leg, but Hracho not allowing her to do it. That's why she has that leg bent.
Still
but she
not
needs to be
out of
careful.
woods.
She needs to be cautious. She needs to push off with that foot. There it is.
Oh, Perez still battling. Takes a couple kicks to the face for all her efforts. 3 rounds of tremendous action between Hracho and Perez. Official decision coming your way next.
Me llamo Juan Porto, soy de Rivera, Uruguay, tengo 37 años. Diría yo que es un deporte nuevo, el MMA en Uruguay. Está en crecimiento, en un futuro no muy lejano van a estar apareciendo varios nombres acá en Estados Unidos. Para mí es una de las metas más importantes que he tenido en mi vida. Siempre quise pelear acá en Estados Unidos, es una meta que está a punto de lograrse. Comencé el MMA en el año 2009, pero ya tenía una trayectoria anterior con otros deportes de combate. En 2012 inicié con el Jiu-Jitsu y ahí fue mi primer pelea de MMA. Yo describo mi estilo de pelea, me gusta mucho trabajar el kickboxing, combinar los golpes, buscar mi juego en ese sector, pero también me gusta mucho el Jiu-Jitsu, entonces si se surge la oportunidad de trabajar en el piso, puedo desarrollarme también en ese sector. Tengo 2 hijas. Ellas están en Uruguay con su mamá y el marido. Sin duda es la parte más difícil, el desafío más grande que vivo es ese, el hecho de estar lejos de mis hijas. Me gustaría que supieran entender los momentos que me distancié, que fueron momentos para cumplir este sueño, tratar de buscar un mejor futuro para mis hijas. Fuera de la jaula busco hacer el bien, siempre buscar ayudar a las personas, siempre buscar hacer el bien para cosechar un buen karma.
Yep. Yep. Great performance from Kayla Hracho. Great display of boxing, but great stuff as we go to the final result from Lupe Contreras.
El juez Mirasola anotó 29-28 a favor de Hracho. Judge Mirasola scores at 29-28 in favor of Hracho. El juez Celis, 29-28 a favor de Perez. Judge Celis scores it 29-28 in favor of Perez. Y el juez Rodríguez anotó 30-27. Judge Rodríguez scores it 30-27 in favor of the winner by way of split decision. A favor de la vencedora por decisión dividida. Kayla!
Wow, Kayla Hracho looking over to her corner after she heard Perez got the first judge's scorecard. Could not believe it.
Yeah. That's why you never leave it to the judges, Max. But listen, most of the fight, right? A lot of the timing here was spent on the floor, and Perez did have some highlights, and it was in that second round that one of the judges awarded it to Perez. But I could see why Kayla's reaction and said, I think I clearly had that 3 rounds to none, but either way, she ends up getting the split victory right from the start. That's just great boxing, great sharp, crisp, fast hands from Hracho, great movement. In fact, it damaged Perez very early on in the fight, under that right eye of hers. Doctor had to step in the middle of the round to check up on it, but she continued on. But then Perez where she felt she had much of the advantage, took the floor to the fight, but it was Hracho who knew how to position her weight very well, defending quite well, scrambling, positioning. At one time, she even had this lock right here. All she had to do is position her body, but she let go, hoping to get a ground and pound finish. That wasn't it. The fight continued on into the last chapter of this fight. And Perez, I mean, she fought till the end, Max. She searched for something. Leg locks, guillotines, triangle chokes, anything that she can find. But it was to the last second when Hracho was able to escape from that leg lock attempt, and she took that split decision victory.
Back-to-back defeats. She works on her craft, and now she gets a much-needed victory. Hracho, not one kick. Very precise, as she was able to get the victory here and put that bad taste in her mouth, now improved to 1-1 in her Combate Global career. And we'll hope to see Katie Perez back again, as she is defeated here, back-to-back Combate results this in the atom weights, as we look forward to the atom weight division. Topped by Ana Palacios, Claire Lopez, Gloria Bravo. The top three all have been really impressive as we look to build that division brick by brick. What about the hot new reality show? What is the best gym? Check out what's happening on VIX, the streaming service for Tu DN. We'll find out what is the best gym.
No estáis peleando solos, sino estáis representando al equipo y tenéis la fuerza del equipo. ¿Equipo listo? ¡Listo!
Que Von Breaker salga desesperado, para nosotros eso es un beneficio.
Pensé que estábamos absolutamente en un juego limpio, pero esto no es así, no va a ser así ya.
If you come, you fight. If this doesn't happen, you both get penalized.
El momento que no estamos entrenando es el día que ya el oponente tiene la ventaja.
I'm not seeing a personality from him. I'm not seeing confidence from him. And it's probably because he's very intimidated by the rest of the team.
Se puede ser exitoso sin volverte un idiota. Y él piensa que solo siendo un idiota puede ser exitoso.
I'm going to give you some
The money goes to...
Four gyms looking for the payday, looking to be called the best
drama there,
in the biz. Gerardo Bazaldua posing for the camera.
Get out of his mouthpiece.
I know, he's got the branding down. Daniel Sanchez, the favorite, is his opponent. We'll see who wins. 170-pound welterweight matchup coming your way next. Back here, Combate Global getting ready for a next fight. You see Bazaldua on the near ground, Daniel Sanchez on the far ground. Sanchez, the guy who, with the foundation of wrestling, he'll look to take this to the floor and hopefully get that submission from the Sanchez camp. Bazaldua, cornered by the incredible team led by the Marroquins, looking to represent Monterrey. Watched all the colleagues fight for the city successfully. It's his turn now. He wants the ring. Next fight coming your way here, live for our global audience, for those in the United States listening to English on Paramount Plus. Bazaldua, Sanchez is next, both making their fourth appearance for Combate Global. And now the face-off. Gerardo Bazaldua looking for his third win in his pro career.
El MMA me gusta que me hace sentirme físicamente bien y lo que se siente peleando pues no se siente en ninguna otra parte esa sensación. Yo soy Gerardo Javier Bazaldua, tengo 24 años y soy de Monterrey, Nuevo León.
Mi estilo de pelea siempre se ha basado en la lucha, llevar a mis rivales al piso, sofocarlos y buscar la sumisión. Mi nombre es Daniel Sánchez Vázquez, tengo 32 años y soy de la Ciudad de México.
Pues creo que va a ser una pelea tal vez de estilos encontrados, porque a él le gusta más luchar, a mí me gusta más la pelea de pie. Entonces, pues yo creo que va a ser una buena pelea.
Las dos peleas que ha ganado las ha finalizado en el piso, entonces dudo mucho que eso pueda suceder conmigo, puesto que pienso que hay una gran brecha entre mi juego de piso y el de él, y pienso que ahí es donde se va a definir el combate.
Daniel, pues espero que vengas bien preparado, que vengas a dar una guerra, porque pues es lo que espero.
Dentro de la jaula pues no hay amigos y vamos a tener que darnos con todos.
Bazaldua, no stranger to combat sports. As you can see, he started boxing at 8 years old, but his path to MMA, which we've touched on, Rodolfo, is pretty interesting. He was a big fan of WWE and Brock Lesnar. Then one day he sees Brock Lesnar and says, I'm going to UFC and MMA. And he said, wait, what is this? I got to take a look. And then he fell in love with it.
I think Brock Lesnar actually did a lot for a lot of children who transitioned from whatever they were doing to become MMA fans.
Su oponente, Daniel Sanchez.
Daniel Sanchez is back. Last we saw him fight Angel Alvarez. That was in the 155-pound, 145 actually, and now he's looking to get back to the winning ways. Said it was a difficult rival, could not take him to the ground, and that is his strategy, and he'll probably try to do that again here.
He has a strong wrestling background, and when we think about Mexico, Latin America, we always tend to think about the stand of the boxing, but Sanchez, he's a different fighter. He has that background in wrestling, which comes into play especially against a fighter like Bazaldua, who has a strong background in boxing. He also did a little bit of sambo, and he does have that expertise in jiu-jitsu as well. So Sanchez looking in to have a possible win inside La Jaula and putting that last defeat to past.
Bazaldua was a light heavyweight at one point, so he's coming down to 170. He will have that advantage weight-wise, although both come in at 6 feet, just a 2-inch reach advantage for Bazaldua. Both make their weight well under the 171-pound limit. We're ready to go with our co-main event. Bazaldua also 7 years younger than his opponent. Let's get ready the best way we can. Tolupe Contreras.
Continuamos con mucha más acción. 3 vueltas, división peso welter. We continue with much more action. 3 rounds in the welterweight division. Los jueces son the judges are Vicente Rodríguez, Dorian Mirasola y Eliseo Rodríguez. Presentando en la esquina azul, vestido de rojo, presenting the blue corner, wearing red. Sobre la báscula, marcó un peso oficial de 169 libras y 3/4 on the scale. He registered an official 169 3/4 pounds. Entra por quinta ocasión a la jaula, con 2 victorias y 2 derrotas. He enters la jaula for the 5th time as a pro, with 2 victories against 2 losses. De la Sultana del Norte, Monterrey, Nuevo León, México, Gerardo con Bazaldua. Su contrario en la esquina roja, vestido de rojo, his opposition in the red corner, wearing red. Su peso oficial, 169 libras y media, his official weight, 169 1/2 pounds. Con un récord profesional de 3 victorias y 2 derrotas. He enters la jaula with a pro record of 3 victories against 2 losses. Directamente desde Ixtapalapa, Ciudad de México, Daniel Sánchez. El referee de Panamá, Marcos Perez.
Marcos Perez, the third inside La Jaula.
Aquí, por favor. Ok. Ya saben las reglas. Quiero una pelea limpia, ok. Sigan mi comando en todo momento. Choquen guantes si quieren, a sus esquinas.
Regular fare. Want a clean fight? Touch gloves if you want. Go back to your corners.
Yeah, Bazaldua does have that boxing background, but Sanchez can go toe-to-toe. He has his fair share of boxing experience as well, but he does have in the pocket that wrestling background if he needs to switch to levels.
Both wearing red shorts. Bazaldua has the facial hair. You can see he's a thickster. He's got a big build that he hopes will give him the edge here at 170 pounds, having fought at 185, even higher than that at some point in his career. Mexico contra Mexico. Monterrey versus Mexico City.
Yeah, you talk about, Max, about Brock Lesnar and motivating many kids to know about MMA, and we can't take anything away from that man. You know, he's a big name in sports entertainment, and when he made that transition to mixed martial arts, we saw a boom of fans that got involved with MMA, and he set a new wave, a new path.
Peppering away, Bazaldua just anchors down and pushes Sanchez towards the fence. Big right hand.
Great right hand there.
Sanchez did not like that.
Yeah, Bazaldua just measuring where to strike here and connect. Another one, but
big right hand.
Sanchez going straight to his bread and butter of wrestling, but Bazaldua, great takedown defense, taking himself all the way to La Jaula, not allowing Sanchez to finish off the takedown, although he is grabbing onto that leg. If he's able to lift it up and then trip him, he'll be able to get Bazaldua on the floor.
Daniel Sanchez says, I'm sure I'm going to win. I am better technically. Did have the last time we saw him fight, which was March, just had a baby. Baby is now 1 year old.
Yeah, that's crazy. He was just, I think his...
remember we were talking about it.
His child was just born days before his fight. He's almost 1 year, if I'm correct.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, almost.
That's what he said, almost 1 year. I did the math. It's not quite 1 year. But math not my strong suit. Or is it anyone here? I don't look for any guidance around. I look at Rodolfo. He's shaking his head. Don't look at me.
No, that's why I study communications.
Now Sanchez has the back. When it gets to the ground, he looks better. Saw him in March. That was a second round TKO defeat to Angel Alvarez. Again, Sanchez drops him.
First fight card of this year.
First card of our 2022 curtain raiser. Where is the time gone?
Man, it flies.
It didn't feel, what, 8-9 months ago, but it was.
Great work though from Sanchez on the side guard. Landing in those shots. There's an opportunity for submission. Look at that right arm laying loose from Bazaldua. Sanchez, though, you could even... Oh, you had a possibility of doing some crucifix, but that wasn't there anymore as Bazaldua lifting those legs up. Now let's see what Bazaldua... He is gasping for air, Max.
Heavy breathing.
Yeah.
Breathing out of the mouth, too. Not a great sign. And Sanchez starting to dictate the terms here. Gets into side control.
Sanchez putting all that weight, and that's that wrestling. Positioning that forearm on his chin.
Last August, or this past August, Bazaldua fought. So not that long ago, just a couple of months ago, there was a last-minute change to his opponent, which obviously affects your prep training, but he did get the victory over Hanseu Dorville, second round TKO. 12-6 move here by Sanchez as he continues to crank the neck.
Yeah, Sanchez is just waiting for Bazaldua to get that referee angle to put those legs down so he can get mount. It's going to have to be a quick reaction from Sanchez, but he's waiting. But this is the position that Bazaldua does not want to be in, and that's giving the back. See as Sanchez keeps spinning around. He's just waiting for Bazaldua to put that arm down to get tired and give the back, and there he is.
Like a clock, now gets the back, hooks them in.
Yeah, Sanchez just wrapping in, hooking in those legs. He's going to break him down and then search for a rear naked choke, but Bazaldua does have that left arm from Sanchez.
Bazaldua had the upper hand for about 30 seconds. It's been one-way traffic for Sanchez all the way. He said he was going to take it to the ground. You can see why he's good in this capacity. It would appear Bazaldua will make it to a second round, though.
Saved by the bell, Max.
Comprehensive from Sanchez. First round's done. Really nice, Sanchez. You have a game plan. It takes a little bit to get going to it, but eventually it falls into place.
Highlights from that first chapter of this bout. Sanchez testing Bazaldua's striking game and quickly switched to his bread and butter of wrestling. But look at the heavy breathing from Bazaldua.
Bazaldua breathing hard. We'll see if he can get back on in the second round. Back here for the second round, Daniel Sanchez. As Rodolfo put on, he got Bazaldua breathing heavily. What can we take away? Because we don't hear that all the time, but that mic picked up here. It was uncomfortable.
That's exhaustion.
In a first round.
Yeah. That could come a long way, and we'll see how it plays out in the second round.
And Bazaldua's got to keep this on the feet.
Absolutely.
He's trying to block Sanchez.
Because if that fight goes to the floor or to the canvas, Bazaldua is going to just be exhausted when Sanchez puts all that weight on him. So he needs to play that distance. He can't get too close to Sanchez because that's when he'll shoot.
Bazaldua, who says it's a thrill to represent Monterrey. I used to watch my colleagues fight in Combate from Lions team, namely Levi Marroquin, among others. So it's a dream to fight here. He saw these guys fight for Combate Global, and he goes, I want a taste of that. He's finally getting it. Misses with that overhand right.
He has to be quick on his feet as that first round does go to Sanchez, Max. But Bazaldua, if he wants to do something, he has to stick and move. He's not the faster of the two. You can clearly see it. And he's depending very heavily on those heavy hands of his.
As expected, Sanchez wins the first round, officially. And this has been on the feet. Oh, good left hand by Bazaldua gets Sanchez going back.
See that distance there? He has to be fast for Bazaldua. That's for Sanchez. Oh, he got hit there with that left jab.
Good left hand. This is better for Bazaldua, and the jab's working. Switches stance, left an opening. Sanchez went for it. Single leg.
Yeah, and this is exactly what he did in the first round. Took him to the jaula, and then he's gonna grab onto that ankle, taking him to the floor. And once Sanchez gets him on the canvas, that's pretty much it. Sanchez has full control. Did have a Kimura attempt, but Sanchez too smart for this. He's positioning his left shoulder to turn around. He has to be careful. He can't let that arm loose. There it is. Now Bazaldua giving up that back.
Creeping up Sanchez.
But see how smart Sanchez is, Max?
Yeah,
how
he's patient.
He's patient, and he put his back to La Jaula, and he's using that as force, as positioning himself, making it's actually easier for him to hook those legs around and work for something.
He's taking what Bazaldua is giving to him. Creeps up. It looked like he was going for the back, and now he's got.
And you can
into
hear
the guard.
that. Look at that heavy breathing. You can hear it.
Maybe it's a Bazaldua thing. Maybe we're saying that's how he breathes.
I
haven't heard it before.
It's exhausting, Max. But it also could be the way you breathe. You're taught to breathe through your nose. Breathing techniques comes into play so well in fighting. It's very important. You gotta breathe through your nose and out through the mouth, man.
Well, we talked about these fighters beforehand. Sanchez was clearly the more confident, said he was going to win. Bazaldua said, I'm prepared well. I did all the training. I'm excited for the fight. Dodged the question a little bit.
Sanchez now taking Bazaldua's body away from La Jaula. Landing in hammer fist form shot from this position, and Bazaldua just can't find anything to get out. All basically he's doing is keeping up those legs, trying not allowing Sanchez to get full mount. But he's doing damage from this position, Max. working the rib area, landing those shots. Now, he has to be cautious. They're giving away that back. Look how Bazaldua is positioning himself. It has to be a quick movement, but see how Sanchez so smart puts Bazaldua to la jaula.
He's getting the back now. He's got 40 seconds to work with. Maybe that other leg can hook in. He's got something. Sanchez, who had to train after minor surgery.
He's looking for that rear naked choke, Max. He's just waiting for that opening so he could sneak it in. And that's giving it back.
Now Bazaldua's got to fight to survive.
Bazaldua needs to keep that chin down. Sanchez is going to continue laying shots, allowing Bazaldua to make a mistake and sneak it in, but he may survive, Max.
Well, we're going to go to a third round. Sanchez dictating his terms. Well, the key, we talked about in the pre-fight, Sanchez wants to take it to the ground. If Bazaldua wants to be effective, you've got to keep it off the ground.
You have to, and it all comes about that distance in the stand-up, not allowing Sanchez to shoot. It has to be a quick movement from Bazaldua. Stick and move. A term Muhammad Ali made famous. Stick and move.
I want to say every week I'm here with Rodolfo, and I always bring some candy, and I always offer it to him, and he always turns it down.
No sugar.
This week Skittles.
No
he said no.
sugar.
No sugar. Let's take a couple. It's not going to hurt you. Sugar's a poison, kids. Stay away. We are back for the third round. It would appear Daniel Sanchez is up 2-0 in the judges' scorecards because he had a game plan and he's executing it. Glad you could join us here Friday night, Combate Global, worldwide audience, Max Pretos, Rodolfo Roman. Our production team headed up by Art Izquierdo and Pablo Morales. Always exciting to bring you this action. You never know what's going to happen. We have a big main event coming up next. Moses Diaz, the man with the quickest knockout in the company's history.
Looking forward to that fight. You know, I know that Diaz comes in with that 6-second knockout, but never count a vet out in Juan Porto. Because now the tables have turned. It's not Bazaldua taking Sanchez to la jaula. Working in some action here. But he has to do something for this position. Bazaldua just can't hang around. He has to do some sort of action.
Two big, strong dudes. When we think about the great Mexican fighters here, we saw it with David Martinez and Axel Osuna at 135 and 100. These are big guys.
And what a fight. And anybody can see that right now on demand here in Paramount Plus.
Oh,
what
yes.
a fight.
We recommend
what
it.
A fight.
Check that in the Paramount Plus library. David Martinez was fantastic, but then Osuna had that little stretch where he changed things, but he took such a beating. Couldn't quite hang on.
Great fight. Now Bazaldua trying to change, or attempt to change the levels. Good positioning from Bazaldua's head, allowing Sanchez to force him to keep looking up, not allowing him to switch gears, but referee breaking it up, not seeing much action. Now Sanchez
walked right into that one.
There it is, straight to the floor. And I'm going to go ahead and predict, Max, that we may be seeing what we just saw in the first and second round.
A carbon copy, just very early in the process here. And Sanchez, I think Sanchez will probably try and finish it if he can.
Right, and he's been searching for the mount for rear naked choke, submission, anything. He is attempting, he is making an effort. And right here, this is a good point for him, or good position for him to land in the shots and move those hips. Once Bazaldua gets that left foot down, he has to move quickly to get mount. Because Bazaldua, what he's going to do is going to push himself off of la jaula to get away from this position, because it's pretty hard for him to get out because la jaula stands in the way. Great way, though, of Sanchez controlling the fight.
He, before coming to Combate, Sanchez started his career 2-0. He had a first-round TKO win, and he had a rear naked choke first-round win. He's found the going a little harder at Combate in his 3 fights. This is 4th. He's fought Eric Alequin, and we mentioned Angel Alvarez. Those were defeats. Did beat Levi Escobar October of last year.
Great stuff from Sanchez. And he just keeps positioning himself to land more shots to the rib area. He has a good shot here for a knee. Bazaldua, again, getting himself away from this position. Good elbow there for Sanchez. I love how he postures himself. He puts his hand on his face, and it's almost like he lets the sweat just lets him guide him so he can land in with the elbow.
Now he's trying to drop in those forearms. A minute to go as he's been softening up Bazaldua, and listen to him, man, the emphasis behind those blows.
And that's it. This is where Sanchez wants to fight. He's gonna turn around. He couldn't quite finish that turnaround. And we're right smack into the middle, or almost nearly the middle of the jaula. He's making his way through. See how he keeps dragging him little by little to the center. He wants to get him in the center there.
You get the feeling Sanchez wants to finish this.
Yeah, that's
not just sitting it. He is working Bazaldua over.
He's making the effort.
Bazaldua exhausted.
And he's doing it. See, he's getting him more to the center of La Jaula. Little by little.
Listen to the grunts from Sanchez. This is huge for him.
Bazaldua, though, may get out. He needs to spin it right. Sanchez spinning around. Now he's going to get the back. He's going to push him forward. You're going to see how he pushes him down to the center. And there he is. They finally got to the center.
10 seconds.
May he get that pull, that last 10-second submission? He may, Max. He may.
Oh, he's got it under there.
He
just
may.
about.
Oh.
Not quite. You gotta love that. He could have rested. He could have said, I'm good. Sanchez wanted to finish grandstand style. He will be victorious as he takes all 3 rounds. We'll be back. We are back. And it would appear a triumphant evening for Daniel Sanchez. Our main event's coming. Sometimes sinister Moses Diaz. He just doesn't mess around. Juan Porto was asked if he wanted this fight. He says, I'll take it. Now we'll see if he will regret that against the vicious 4-0, 4 knockout Moses Diaz. Much respect for Porto for taking this fight on short notice. Not many would have. We're ready for the official decision here. Let's get it inside La Jaula to Lupe Contreras.
Los jueces Vicente y Eliseo Rodríguez entregan tarjetas de 30 a 27. Judges Vicente and Eliseo Rodríguez scored about 30-27. Y el juez Mirasola anotó 30 a 26. Judge Mirasola scores it 30-26 in favor of the winner by way of unanimous decision. A favor del vencedor por decisión unánime. De Ixtapalapa para el mundo, Daniel Sanchez.
Comprehensive from Daniel Sanchez. You see some emotions there. That was big for him as he goes to 4-2. What a statuesque figure. And now if he can firm up the stand-up, but if you can get these fights to the ground, he is going to be a real player at this division. Again, 170 pounds, which 2023 I know is going to be a company priority for Combate.
Absolutely, and he needs to finish the fights. He had many opportunities to finish. Sometimes you just gotta last for that last bit of gas, man, and just put that pedal, put the accelerator, and finish it off. Let's take a look at some of the work that both this men displayed in La Jaula. 3 rounds of action. Sanchez taking it straight to the canvas where he did his handy work. He searched everything here, any sort of submission that he can find. But he also attempted to finish off this fight by way of ground and pound. Bazaldua did have some sort of high hopes in that second round where he was landing in some heavy shots. And that's when Sanchez said, I've had enough. Let me go back to my bread and butter of the ground game. And he searched. He desperately searched to finish off the fight. Anywhere, any place he could. He even took this fight right straight to the center of La Jaula in the third round, where in just about 10 seconds left, he attempted this rear naked choke. However, it just wasn't enough. But either way, he took the fight by way of unanimous decision.
And there is Daniel Sanchez. Great moment for him, and we will see what comes up next, but he certainly put the Angel Alvarez result behind him here this evening. This was a fight that was on the ground a lot, and Daniel Sanchez did what he had to do. The takedowns, that was key. Rodolfo, 3, really 1 per round. Once it went down, it stayed down.
That's it. And he just put all his body weight and just controlled the entire fight. Bazaldua just couldn't get out of that position. I mean, there's no doubt, when you look at his fighting stance, it's a stand-up, but he needs to work on that ground game to escape out of those situations.
But impressive from Sanchez. You look to see for these guys to improve from past fights, and that is exactly what Sanchez did. And he called it. He said he was going to take it to the ground. He was going to win. Check mark, check mark.
He did it, when I'm surprised about is when we talk about Mexican fighters, we always talk about that stand-up game because of those roots, right? The Julio Cesar Chavez is so many big popular boxers, but this man right here, he had that background in wrestling.
Which is the best gym? They're asking that on VIX, the streaming service for TUDN.
Llegó el momento de una guerra de equipos.
Para nosotros es un privilegio pelear. No se va a rendir. Tienes que acabar con él si quieres ganar la pelea.
You guys are my life, for real. When you win, when you lose, I won't be happy till we fight again. This is the episode I've been waiting for. Oh my God, it's gonna be a massacre.
Al haber tenido dos peleas y de estar en primer lugar, estamos agradecidos. Pero la competencia no se ha terminado.
Hemos perdido unas batallas, pero no hemos perdido la guerra.
Yo le puedo aplastar el cráneo dentro de la jaula y cayéndome bien.
That's as personal as it gets.
You will have to kill me to get me out of here.
¡Vamos, México!
We are in Miami, our home for Combate Global, where some of the best fighters in the world come to prove their wherewithal. This is the home of some of the best, if not the best, gyms per capita on the planet when it comes to MMA. And now we have the main event, Moses Diaz. The main event had to change. We looked for an opponent. Juan Porto says, I'll be your Huckleberry. The Uruguayan legend who knows that the next Uruguayans are going to be the ones that put the country on the map, but he's looking to do it tonight. Let's know a little bit more about the man they call El Profe.
Siempre quise pelear acá en Estados Unidos. Para mí es una de las metas más importantes que he tenido en mi vida desde que me inicié en las artes marciales mixtas. Creo yo que una cosa que me puede definir es la tranquilidad, el control, el autocontrol todo el tiempo, buscar los golpes siempre limpios. Tengo 2 hijas, ellas están en Uruguay con su mamá. Puedo decir que eso es el desafío más grande que he tenido. Yo estoy lejos, que no puedo como estar presente con ellas, es algo que me cuesta. Siempre me subo para ganar, entreno muy fuerte todo el tiempo. Sin duda va a ser un show y va a ser una guerra.
Juan Porto.
37 years young. Again, this is a sport you late bloom. Came to Florida to train with MMA masters. Does have a gym back in Uruguay, but came here hoping that an opportunity would arise like this, and here it is.
This is his shot. This is his opportunity he's been waiting for. If you just take a look at his socials, man, so many folks from Uruguay are sitting at the edge of their feet because one of them made it out to the big leagues in Combate Global. Great background in kickboxing. That's how he started off in this sport and eventually transitioned to mixed martial arts. Looking forward to his debut inside La Jaula.
Now his opponent, the undefeated knockout king, Moses Diaz.
My previous fight with Combate, it was the fastest knockout in Combate history.
6 segundos el primer episodio, the official time.
It was just timing, you know, I have really good timing. I read my opponents, figure them out, time them, boom. I was really good at it, you know, starting as amateur, I was undefeated. I finished everyone with knockouts as amateur, and now here we are as a pro, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I don't know much about my opponent, just gonna figure him out just like I figure everyone else out. The deeper the fight goes, the worse it's gonna be for him.
Su rival, Moses Diaz.
Got started in MMA after wrestling in high school, then picked up jiu-jitsu and currently trains at the MMA lab with the likes of Benson Henderson, based there in Phoenix, Arizona. So jiu-jitsu, wrestling, that does not describe how this guy fights. He is knockout power, spark plug of a right hand, and El Profe, if he wants to, at least at the very minimal, extend this fight, got to stay away from that.
You have to stay away from that right hand. Play the distance. Just look at this guy just stepping inside La Jaula. He's so scary just looking at him stepping in there. 6 seconds, that's all we've seen him compete in here. He does have that background in wrestling just in case. Let's see it.
Final time tonight, we go head-to-head, cara-a-cara, face-to-face. Porto is obviously the senior fighter. He's giving up 2 inches, although he does have the reach advantage. He's in great shape. This would have been at 145. They do go to a catch weight of 150, but look at Diaz. He just went a little over, feels comfortable. Porto almost made it down to 145, just to show how serious he is. Here we go, a once-in-a-chance lifetime for Porto. You don't know when an opportunity like this comes knocking. It's come knocking now. Can he take the O to go for Diaz? We'll find out. Tolupe Contreras, main event.
Este es el duelo estelar de esta noche a un peso pactado a 150 libras. This is our main event of the evening. 3 rounds at a catch weight of 150 pounds. Los jueces son, the judges are Ricardo Celis, Vicente Rodríguez y Dorian Mirasola. Y ahora, damas y caballeros, llegó el momento de un combate global. Presentando en la esquina azul, vestido de celeste, presenting the blue corner, wearing light blue. Sobre la báscula, marcó un peso oficial de 149 libras y media on the scale. He registered an official 149.5 pounds. En 15 combates profesionales, mantiene un récord de 11 victorias, 3 derrotas y un empate en 15 pro bouts. He maintains a record of 11 victories, 3 losses and 1 bout even. Rivera, Uruguay presente. Juan, el profe Porto. Su contrario en la esquina roja, vestido del tricolor mexicano, verde, blanco y rojo, his opponent in the red corner, wearing the colors of Mexico, green, white, and red. He weighed in officially at 147.5 pounds. Detuvo la báscula a un peso oficial de 147 libras y media. Esta noche entra a la jaula buscando mantener su récord invicto de 4 victorias. Tonight, he enters la jaula looking to remain undefeated with 4 victories. El dueño del knockout más rápido en la historia de combate global, de Glendale, Arizona, Moses Diaz. El referee internacional, Raúl Porrata.
Raúl Porrata, the pride of Carl Gables High School, third inside
Y
loud.
protegen en todos momentos. Quieren una pelea limpia. Toquen guantes ahora. Regresen a sus esquinas.
Pretty clean for Moses Diaz. You show his record: 4 wins, 0 defeats, 4 TKOs.
Right, and when you look at those numbers, you might say, well, that looks a little awkward, but no, you got to remember, Juan Porto, the level of competition is not the same as the Moses Diaz that we're seeing here today. And already Diaz trying to feint that he's going to throw that right.
He just consumes the howler. Look at that.
Yeah, but Porto needs to move around. He needs to move around. He can't position himself next to La Jaula because Diaz will just eat him alive with that right hand or the combination.
Porto turtling up early. He gets one straight down the pipe.
And that's one thing that you'll see with him. He'll like to parry a lot of those shots. He can't do that with Diaz. He's so fast, he's so quick, and he could be in trouble. So he needs to position himself, that guard up, like just what he's doing. He can't be putting up those hands up.
I mean, but that's the body language right from the jump. I mean, he's not going to get knocked out in 6 seconds, but the body language just shows how much respect those hands have, and they're getting through now.
And that's okay what he's doing right now. He's letting him throw the hands. That's fine. Maybe the strategy is here, well, let him throw. Let's see how much gas he has in the tank, and then I'll take over after that. But Porto, though, he's more backpedaling. Let's see if he moves in a little bit more the offensive here and gets inside. By the way, Porto has a good corner of Rafael Alves, the spectacular fighter that we've seen compete in MMA here.
Diaz, all the offense. From Glendale, Arizona, grew up wrestling and then transitioned to jiu-jitsu to MMA, technical striker. He said, I'm going to figure my opponent in the cage. The deeper the fight goes, the worse it will be for him. Direct quote.
Listen, man, this is he's a young man. I mean, the age difference is there. So what's going to come down for Porto is technique. That's what's going to be the difference in here. He has that kickboxing background, took that shot to the body. And now Porto does have submission victories here. So if he takes this to the floor, I'd be curious to see what Diaz does.
I mean, Porto has a great record. Granted, most of his fights in Uruguay, 10-3. Rear naked choke in his last fight, which was in May. 3 TKOs, 4 submissions. He's won 9 of his last 10 fights. It's a remarkable record, but not in the U.S. This is what he wanted. This is where he wanted to go. Fight in the U.S. There's a big overhand right, misses.
Yeah, good movement there, but Porto needs to stop with those hands. It's dangerous when you leave them open, because then you expose that chin, and you can't do that against a guy like Diaz. It's so quick that can hit you with that right or hooks. See how he extends the hands up there, Max? Can't do it against a guy like Diaz. He's so fast.
4 TKO, KO victories for Diaz. Only 1 going beyond the second round. Only 1 going into the second round.
Well, Porto did lay in that left jab. Connected to Diaz. He tried to follow it up with a kick, but Diaz blocked it, checked it.
And we talk about fighting for your country, and it doesn't speak any louder than Juan Porto. He is truly fighting for Uruguay. It's like he's playing in a World Cup, representing the country. He's wearing the Celeste blue there for his nation. I am from this was what he said, I'm the first generation fighter of Uruguay. When you think of him, or Tongarreino, he goes, a new generation's coming strong. They have a real future. Names appearing in the U.S., but he is looking to break through some doors, and if he can win this, the pathway is made. That's a big ask.
Can you imagine if Porto pulls this upset? Oh, he tried to catch his leg. So much hands on his back, Max.
Better body language from Porto.
Yeah, now we're entering the latter part of this first try. He feels a little bit more comfortable. The butterflies are out the door. Now he feels like, okay, I'm a little comfortable here. Now, let's see what he's about. I mean, so far, he's standing toe-to-toe with Diaz. Don't be fooled by that turtling up. I train with him, so I know that he does this. It's that habit he has. So don't be fazed by it.
What sticks out when you train with him? What do you notice?
Well, I mean, I can tell you right now, I mean, kicking this guy is like kicking a rock. Because his body physically is just...
It certainly looks that case.
He's solid. Now, the thing is, can he take a punch from Diaz? Does he have that chin? Does he have a glass jaw? Because Diaz has a lot of power in those hands. But I'll tell you, if you hit his body, he can take anything. You can hit this guy with a wrecking ball, he'll take it.
Diaz finishes fights quick, but he said, if this goes deeper, just to re-quote myself, It's going to get worse for Porto. It looks like Porto exchanging.
Oh, man.
Porto connects. And now Diaz is going backwards right at the end of the first round. He's hurt. Porto hurt Diaz. Second round coming.
Ooh, that woke up Diaz.
It sure
He
did.
did that 1-2 combination
track.
towards the end. Surely enough, right from the start, Diaz was having some fun throwing in those hooks, the punches. But man, Porto, don't be fooled. He likes to do that. It's his habit. Trust me, I've trained with him a couple of times. I know what I'm talking about here. He loves to parry, but he's very patient. He's very calm. It's like a shark when he smells blood. He doesn't attack so quickly. He just sees the blood and then finds the opportunity to bite. But man, look at Porto. Good movement. And it was the end. He landed a good 2-3 shots in there that kind of raised the eyebrow of Diaz.
Back here in the second round, some redness around the left eye and the nose of Moses Diaz, and something, he didn't win the round, but something to inspire him in the second round. And the public in Uruguay, you know they're watching in Montevideo, in Punta del Este, in Paysandú, all over, just geographically one of the smallest countries. It's tiny, lodged in between Brazil and Argentina. But what an incredible sporting history they have. Not in MMA. Porto looking to change that. But now back on the front foot for Diaz.
Not trying to change up the pace from Porto. Good stuff so far. That's it. He survived those 5 minutes. Those 5 minutes were crucial for Porto to really feel it out. And now this is when the fight begins. And those last 3-10 seconds of that last round, man, that could be a big difference here.
Good kick, Porto. Moses Diaz wins the first round. No surprise there. It was just that flurry by Porto that invigorated La Jaula for sure.
Now, do you feel, and I think I've seen this here, Max, and maybe you could rely on me, but do you see the pace of Diaz slowing down? He's not as quick, he's more patient now?
Until doubling up on a combination.
He's not coming down as fast as he was in that opening round in the first seconds.
Well, he never gets touched. There's a calling card around his left eye right now.
Those last few seconds told him, okay, it's not as easy as I thought it was.
The Porto corner very inspired. Light coaching, not trying to quell the enthusiasm a bit just to make sure there's a long way to go. One thing you know about Diaz, he's so impressive. Big kick by Porto to the lead leg. Diaz still pretty new, still pretty green in MMA.
Now Porto does have that strong background in kickboxing, great low kicks, great combinations, mixing in the hands and the kicks. And you'll see it right here. And what's really evolved him as a fighter, Max, is leaving Uruguay, coming to the States to train with the likes of MMA masters, with the likes of a Rafael Alves, a Colby Covington. And that right there is going to expose him to better training partners that's going to push him. Yeah, he's getting close to 40, okay, but in MMA, especially in Uruguay, you could say that it's a new sport in Uruguay. So this man has been used to kickboxing, and now he's able to evolve into what it is, mixed martial arts. So his body has not taken as much damage. You know, you think of like the Randy Coutures who started their career very later on in their life, but they lived on to compete at a later age because they started late.
Yeah, this is the more experience. We had a 19-year-old earlier on the card who lost again after all the hullabaloo about what he could do. You learn lessons in there, and being wiser and more experienced is a huge dividend that fighters have. Good left hand by Porto.
Boy,
Diaz still
boy.
more active, but now a big kick. Overhand right, Diaz.
I'm liking the movement from Porto.
He's dodging those punches.
Yeah.
What he said to us, he goes, I like to control. Be relaxed. Don't leave moment of calm. That is what defines me. And that is clearly what we're seeing from him.
It's exactly what he said is what he's doing.
Uh-oh, low blow, little stoppage there. No, Diaz says, I'm okay. No, he'll take it. He'll take a moment.
Well, you gotta think. You gotta think if Diaz is using this to his advantage here, take a little breather, relax, say, okay, let me get back on the horse. And here's a fun fact, Max. And here's the low. It was more the abdomen area. It didn't reach.
He only was out for 30 seconds, which makes you think if it didn't hit you in the groin, you can't be getting that time off. Interesting, Diaz accepted it.
Diaz might be headed for the 3rd round for the first time in his professional career. You have to go back to April of 2000. Oh, 2021, where that fight, his debut as a professional, went to the 2nd round, and that's where it finished with 50 seconds left. But right now, I think we're headed to the 3rd.
45 seconds, good body shot, Diaz. Then he came upstairs. Porto's now a little out of whack.
Yeah, but good way of Porto keeping in that guard really tight, keeping those elbows so he wouldn't attack the rib area or the body.
Porto says he likes to stand up, but he has a good base of jiu-jitsu. This has not gone to the ground. Now Diaz is in predatorial mode again.
Good stuff.
Excellent fight, just intense, and you know what's at stake. Final seconds of round 2. Porto survived, looks fit, but what can he pull out for this 3rd and final round? Interesting, and just so many levels to this fight. Moses Diaz now truly in uncharted waters going into the 3rd round, but he says this is where he can do his damage. We'll see if he's preaching the gospel.
Well, let's see. You do that combination, but don't be fooled by it. Porto did keep the hands up. Maybe 1, maybe 2 got in there, but Porto good defense and right hand. Great combination for Porto when he sees that opportunity. See how he positioned that left leg to almost trip him, but he'll follow up with some hand combinations. Listen, if I'm Diaz, I'm surprised.
Yeah, look, very telling. Just look at him sit there with his corner moving away. We are back now. The big thing we wait for to see the score of that 2nd round. You would think Diaz, because of the volume of his strikes, wins the 2nd round, and Porto's best chance is to finish it somehow in round 3. But we'll find out officially here shortly.
And the first time Diaz enters the 3rd round in his professional career. Oh, there's that right hand from Diaz, but didn't do enough to take Porto down.
You know the power. This is a credit to Porto because the power in those hands are hard. It's laid people out. Everyone in his path has gone down. Porto the first to, if nothing else, he could say he took him into these deeper waters.
And you could tell a lot from the facial expression, Max. And look, here's the...
official now, as expected.
Yep. You could tell a lot by the facial expression, Max. And you could tell Diaz is,
no, he doesn't want it. He doesn't want that.
He's like, okay. Oh, good hand movement from Porto.
Just for Diaz, June 3rd, 6-second finish of Carlos Cordoba, his Combate debut. December of last year, 1st round win, TKO. August of last year, 1st round knockout. April of last year, 2nd round TKO. Those are his 4 fights. Not gonna knock him out all the time. You lose a little bit of the fantasy of this knockout figure, Mike Tyson type, but you just keep winning. You want to keep winning. Can't make mistakes if you're Diaz. Got to be clean in round 3 against a real veteran. The jabs for Porto.
Jab, yeah. Okay, he's coming in. He lets him throw and oh, he connected with that left.
And Diaz came over on that right. Jabs are getting through. Porto's making inroads.
Porto's doing some damage.
Diaz trying to hit and get out before the counters.
Good way of closing the distance, not allowing Diaz to throw that right hand, that powerful hand. Because we haven't seen much of it. He hasn't been able to connect it. See how now he's pressuring. Notice, Porto now is the one controlling this fight. He'll come in.
He turtles up again. You had a chance to talk to Porto. What were his thoughts about this fight, about getting this? Was he hush-hush?
No, he was flat out. Close the range. Don't let him throw that right hand. And so far, yes, he's losing the fight, but Diaz hasn't found a good chance where he can really bring in that right hand with lots of power with that back leg, because Porto keeps coming in forward, or if not, he'll move around.
He avoided that right hand again there. Power punches have missed by and large for Diaz.
But what I'm really impressed with Porto is his head movement. He's been really consistent with that. Really good stuff. I'm so used to see him, because when you see kickboxers or even Muay Thai guys,
missed again.
That's where that right. But he's so fast. That's what I'm very impressed with him.
There's
another one.
If nothing else for this one, Porto has really impressed the powers that be. Combate love guys that can grab the imagination of the public, entertain, and he's done that. We'll see him again. Maybe he can still pull a rabbit out of the hat, but this has been a wonderful achievement from him.
When you look at a fighter who has that kickboxing, Muay Thai background, the head movement isn't there like a boxer. So when you're able to really learn that, it just makes you a dangerous fighter. And credit goes to that training that he's been having in MMA Masters with the coaches, with Daniel Valverde and Cesar Carnedo.
It's amazing how Moses Diaz just holds up that right hand. Ready to unfurl it, uncork it. And this is great for him too. This is into the body of work. This is tape that you can look at and talk with your coaches about what comes next. As long as it's not, I mean, you learn from your defeats. Everyone says what, but it's good to learn from your victories too. Under a minute to go in this fight.
It's the first time that Diaz will be in a 15-minute fight in his professional career.
Barely went 10 minutes in any, did not go 10 minutes in any fight.
So far, he's fought longer today than his entire career.
Yes, you put that all together, 10 minutes total. 35 seconds. Porto can swing for the fences. He can be proud of what he's accomplished, or he can try to knock one out of the park. Diaz will let him. He's going to stay in the pocket with him.
Now, Diaz and you could tell that he respects Porto's power. He's switching around. He's not being as aggressive. Kind of slowing the pace. Well, there's that right hand there.
Punches.
But he's so good. Porto reads it from a mile away when that right hand comes. He did his homework on a short notice. It's like,
listen to the crowd. We only have like a couple hundred people in there. They're loud and into it. Man. Fantastic action.
Good stuff.
Moses Diaz will remain undefeated, but everyone impressed by El Profe. We'll be back. Official decision. Well, we talked about 6-second knockout repeatedly. We didn't have that. Hats off to El Profe. Moses Diaz, though, looking to improve to 5-0 for the officials. Let's go to Lupe Contreras.
Los tres jueces entregan tarjetas idénticas de 30 a 27, all three judges, turning identical scorecards of 30 to 27 in favor of the winner by way of unanimous decision a favor del ganador por decisión unánime. Still undefeated, Moses Diaz.
Moses Diaz, 5-0, carries a lot of weight in this business. And remember, taking a fight on short notice obviously affects the guy taking the fight, but the guy in Moses Diaz's shoes, it's also challenging. As you prepared for someone else and he gets the win, he'll be happy at the MMA lab.
Listen, Porto can't go home with his head down.
No.
Man. He took the fight on day's notice, and he stood there with a savage. And Moses Diaz took him 3 rounds. 3 rounds. Diaz had never had been there before, so no way to walk out of La Hala with a head down for Porto.
142 throws and relatively accurate in the mix. Didn't have that one power punch that could have done the damage to Porto, and Porto prepared for that. He avoided that. We saw him from the very opening seconds, covering himself up. And maybe that's how people will approach Diaz. But we'll see. I mean, the cat's out of the bag. He has knockout power. You don't want to feel that leather.
And it's just a matter of avoiding that right hand, and that's what Porto did. Played it very well.
Next week, Victor Cisneros, one of the big prospects, although he saw his undefeated record go out the door. The last time he fought, he wants to get that bad taste out of his mouth against the man from Mexicali, Ramon Vizcarra, coming off a huge, impressive victory, looking to keep Victor Cisneros down a rung. That's coming your way next Friday, live worldwide, including here on Paramount Plus.
It's a fun fight to see between those two dudes.
Lots of great action here, and well, Kayla Hracho, she got the victory after all was said and done. We had some great action in the 170. Tremendous stuff here. We're all out of time for our entire production crew. Rodolfo Roman, my name is Max Bretos. We'll see you next Friday. Until then, Placido Domingo.